Burnett, and welcome back to yourweddinghub.com. Now, if you checked in yesterday, I did part one, and it was a short part on planning the procession part of your wedding. Today is going to be a little bit longer, and hopefully you find it helpful, so stick with me, because there's a lot of important stuff when you're talking about planning the ceremony and planning the procession. If you were to look at a wedding etiquette book, there are certain do's and don'ts, but you know what, nowadays a lot of those rules are not a big deal. So you kind of got to go into it with an open mind and think a little bit about family dynamics and a lot of different things like that. So please understand that whatever I say are just suggestions, some tips, and again, you know, don't hesitate to post questions because we'll answer your questions. If you got something specific that you need some advice on, ask us questions. But yesterday I started talking about who should all walk in. I like to have the groom's parents walk first, and that's just kind of that's a standard. And one of the ways, you know, the traditional way in the wedding etiquette book would be that an usher escorts the groom's mom in, and dad's following along about 2 or 3 steps behind like a chihuaha, you know, and I gotta tell you, that never has made a lot of sense to me. I always thought that looked kind of tacky. Some strange man is escorting this lady and her husband's following along 3 steps behind. So the way I like to do it is this. Have groom's dad escort mom. Now if they're divorced, I mean, you can have each couple walk in, but you know, the 2 of them walk in together and take a seat. Now one option I'm going to just kind of throw in there, and there are different ways you can piece all this together, but sometimes I have the groom walk in with mom and dad, one on each side. They get to the front row and have a little cry fest there, give each other a hug, mom and dad are seated, and the groom comes up and stands beside the officiant. Next is the bride's mom. And she needs to be escorted, and you could have, if you've got a brother, that would be the no-brainer. You know, have your brother escort mom in, and the 2 of them are seated. And then generally you would have the guys walk in. Now, you know, one of the traditional things that you may have seen if you go to many weddings or you watch many on TV, and this kind of comes more from the church style of wedding, where the guys, along with the officiant, kind of come out of some back room and sneak into position. I got to tell you, that's not another favorite one of mine. I've done weddings like that, but that's not my favorite. I like to have the guys walk in, and you can do it in such a way, brides and grooms, that you don't have to see each other, but it gives the photographer an opportunity to get some nice photos of the guys walking down the aisle as well. And so, groom's parents, bride's mom, and then the officiant and the groom and his attendants, however many there be. And then you've got the bridesmaids, and the first of the bridesmaids to walk in is going to be the one that's standing the furthest away from you brides. So if you've got 4 bridesmaids, it's going to be that girl that's the 4th one over, and you work your way up to the maid of honor or matron of honor. So bridesmaid, and then there's another question that almost always comes up. We've got a ring boy and a flower girl. Where do they fit in? Again, that's pretty flexible. I'll tell you this, traditionally the flower girl would walk in just before the bride. If she was doing the thing walking down the aisle and throwing out some flower petals, the idea is she's kind of preparing the way for the bride so that the bride would be the only one that would walk on those. And so technically, if it works well, the flower girl should walk in just before the bride, or the bride and dad, or however you're doing that. And then and the ring boy and flower girl can walk together, or you can have the ring boy just before the first of the bridesmaids, or just after the maid of honor, and then the ring boy, and then the flower girl, and then the officiant would say, ladies and gentlemen, please stand. So those are some suggestions, but again, keep in mind, in the day and age that we're living, flexibility is the rule. And there's a lot of different ways, but again, please post questions, post your comments. Give me some ideas of what it is that you want advice on yourweddinghub.com, because we're here for you. It's yourweddinghub.com. And thank you for joining me. Thank you for sticking with me a little bit longer. And tomorrow, check us out again, because we're going to have a new posting. See you then.